G'day mates, how you legends doing? And people call me the Babadoe, and welcome to Babadoe Tonight. Welcome to the first episode of Babadoe Tonight, the world's cheapest YouTube late show. This will be hosted by me and that Silky Milk every Friday at 10 PM. Now tonight we have a very special guest, and I do mean special, R.Kelly, Mr. Drifter himself. Damn it! Now tonight we have a very special guest, and I do mean special. The Stop Start King, Mr. Drifter himself, R.Kelly, aka Hop in the Bin! No, I wasn't recording that. You fucking... G'day mates, how you legends doing? And people call me the Babadoe, and this is my co-host Silky Milk. And today we have a guest, R.Kelly.
Hop in the bin. Previously, School Shooter Apex.
So why did you change your name?
Because I was sick of being called School Shooter Apex, primarily. I don't know. Hop in the bin was a bit of a shit talking manoeuvre on Rainbow and things like that. So
were you good enough to justify this shit talking manoeuvre?
No, absolutely not. There was a period where I was like decent at Rainbow. Decent is probably still an overstatement, but
Decent at team killing, that is, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, unfortunately, my proudest moments have never been caught on film, which is usually the way that those sorts of things go. But yeah, no, it was mostly from that period where us boys were really into Rainbow, was when I changed my name to Hop in the Bin. But I don't know, it had its effect in other shooters and stuff as well. I was pretty big into Halo and COD for a while, but well, it is what it is. Yeah.
Crap. Forgot the questions. Sorry. Why are you only in 5 videos?
Primarily because I'm never really on Xbox.
And now why is that? Can't be.
That's a good question. I spend an overwhelming amount of time with my girlfriend, which is pretty fucking gay.
Simp.
Yeah, I'll cop that. But I am in the process of moving my Xbox and TV and stuff into my bedroom, because usually what happens is I get home and I'm too fucking tired and I just want to lay down. And unfortunately at the moment I can't do both. So yeah, I'm trying to...
That's understandable when you got a full-time job. Where do you work exactly?
At the moment, hopefully not for too much longer, I'm working in public service. Work at Centrelink. I currently do debt raising.
Now can you tell us why it's shit?
Mostly the people. I hate working with the people that I work with. There are some good people in there, but primarily it's, being told what to do by people that don't know how to do it themselves and those sorts of things, which you get that on a lot of jobs, but it's more so just people that you always have to prove yourself, because the big thing is, only being 18 years old, I'm constantly having to prove myself to everyone in the workplace, and everyone treats you like a child.
So it's not a problem with authority, it's people under you, or is it both?
I don't have problems with authority. I'm fine to, listen to other people and work under people. That's not my issue. It's just being treated like a child when I've made opportunities for myself that most 18-year-olds wouldn't have. So, yeah, I don't know.
So, Varman, can you relate to some of these issues?
Yes, I can. Both being the only male where I work, as well as the youngest, it is not a challenge. But, I get babied a lot. Yeah. First world problems. Riley, did you ever take a step back and think that maybe you are the problem, not your co-workers?
I did. I genuinely have. I know this is a piss take, but I have often thought about it. And when I started, there was genuinely a lot of feelings of guilt, because I was working with a lot of people that had done like A&E law and, spent tens of thousands of dollars on going to university to get degrees, and I've just come in with no work experience, no genuine applicable experience, just come straight out of college and straight into a job that pays above, median salary for most Australians. So I'm lucky and I'm very fortunate to be in the situation that I'm in. But yeah, I have definitely thought about being the problem on numerous occasions. Whether that is the case or not, I'm not sure. I'm too naive to be able to recognise that myself. But I don't know. I suppose there's always the possibility that that's the case.
So, do you mind me asking how you got the job at the start?
Yeah, at the start, I was applying for literally everywhere. I was keen to just try to work. Anyway, I was handing my resume in left, right, centre, car dealerships, grocery stores. I got a job at Superbarn for about 3 shifts. After my 3rd shift, actually, is when I crashed the Polo, but we'll talk about that later on. But
in the car history you have.
But anyway, I was pretty desperate. It was after my birthday. I just turned 18, and I was kind of in a bit of a rut, like genuinely in a rut with my life. And I was like, I just need something. One of my mates, it was my sister's boyfriend, actually messaged me and was like, "Do you want a job doing X? I've got a contact that can get you this job." And yeah, that pretty much went from there. I had no idea what I was doing. I just sent off a whole bunch of paperwork, and she called me up the next day and was like, "All right, we need you." So this was on a Monday. She called me on the Tuesday and said, "We need you on Thursday." And I was there, 7:30 Thursday morning, and I had no idea what I was doing until I walked into the building, and then I was told, "You'll be on the phone lines for Centrelink," essentially. So that's what I started off doing there. But originally there were 8 teams of 20 people that started there. I think it was around 160 to 170 people. We're now down to 30 of that original 170 that joined in that recruitment round. So
Jesus, they're just laying off so many public servants.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was because there was a huge demand for that at the time, because that was when coronavirus was kicking off. Now there's not the same demand. A lot of people are already on payment or are leaving payments. There's not the same amount of people that are applying for payment and, in the same situation, which is a blessing and a curse.
So, on to one of my next questions. How did the coronavirus affect you or Vam? Can we get both answers?
Do you want to start?
Yeah, well, my work closed down pretty soon afterwards, so I spent about 6 months this year I ended up getting a second job, but 6 months I wasn't working there.
So just to clarify, all 3 of us went to school together, and we all have finished last year, and this is when COVID, so I'm interested to know.
Yeah,
so
right as we were all meant to start university, which is what I was originally anticipating to do this year. Me leaving uni had nothing to do with coronavirus. Me leaving uni was because I wanted to pursue money. And I wanted money. I wanted money.
Stayed in uni for a year.
Yeah, I wanted money, and there was definitely a sense of wanting to travel as well. The travel part went out of the window pretty quick with coronavirus, but money was the main thing. I kind of pursued John's footsteps a little bit because I saw him leaving university to go and do an apprenticeship, and whilst I wasn't really sure I'd be able to secure an apprenticeship or anything, I was hoping that there'd be some opportunity to make some money, and anything was better than nothing. This was also before coronavirus. My previous work had shut down because they went bankrupt, so I was without a job for a few months, which just sucked. So yeah, mostly I wanted to pursue money. That was why I left uni. And the opportunity to work where I am and make this money was only created because of coronavirus. So it's created more opportunities for me than it has.
You see, for me, it was the opposite effect because I deferred my degree to go out making money. And I was doing a carpentry apprenticeship, and because of coronavirus, I couldn't work because they couldn't get enough work for the workers they had. So I got laid off of that. And
how many people got laid off at that time?
It's hard to say because it was a big company in Canberra, but I could see someone for one day and then the next day they were gone. I was one of the few that's lasted for a while, but I was on a job site.
Was that because being an apprentice, were you working under someone that was more important?
That's what you would think, but I barely saw the person that was meant to be managing my apprenticeship.
Yeah,
he was like one of the top people in the company.
Which company was it?
ABS Facades. It was a good company, I would recommend, but it's a big company, so I was on a job site for around 3 months, and when I returned back to the factory, it was a company in commercial that made glass, windows and frames, and since they weren't getting enough imports, because I remember them complaining about China's shipments, that they had to go through all these procedures and taken care of, it delayed their shipments for so long that they couldn't give the work out. So I got laid off into that. And I was in the same boat as you, looking for a job constantly, and now I'm dentist assistant, which was...
Yeah, better than nothing. It's work.
Yeah,
work
it's work.
Is it better money than you're on? Same money?
Since it was apprenticeship, I was going... It's a better money, but for hospitality, it's a bit surprising how low it is.
Yeah. Is it easier money?
It is. It's going from physical work to just
like actual intensive labour to just kind of not desk. It's not like an office job.
It's not an office job. You're with patients, so it's more hospitality and getting to know them, and you just have to have a stomach for it too. Like most people are frightened of us.
Do you see? You say have a stomach for it. Do you see blood and stuff?
Yeah, we're in there. We're seeing the people. We do fillings, checkup and cleans, extractions.
Have you been there when they've been doing extraction? You've seen people get their teeth taken out?
Yeah, I'm the dude with the vacuum that has to vacuum all the blood up from the extraction, and then I'm cleaning all the things.
That's grim. That is grim. That's pretty sick though. Yeah.
But from it's weird because when you're a third person looking down, you don't really... It's more of a science really than... I have empathy for the patient and I try to vision myself, but it's more just on focus doing the job.
I always kind of not hated the dentist assistant, but I always found that the dentist that I was going to for ages when I was a kid sucked. Like the assistant always sucked, and they never had the the vacuum in the right spot, and it always just pulled at the back of my mouth, and it was just the worst feeling. I'd always feel like I was about to fucking drown in my own blood.
But
so
you see that there's the opposite effect with me because it's a small area, so you have to. So if you're going to the dentist and your tongue is playing with the equipment, it's the most annoying shit.
Yeah, but I always try and keep my tongue out of the way. I actually, my dentist recommended that for people that have like sensitive gag reflexes and swollen tongues and those sorts of things, to chew gum before you go to the dentist.
Yeah.
Because it kind of reduces the inflammation and all that stuff.
The way I would say...
And cleans your teeth, which is always good before you go there.
The way I would put it, the best way you could do is open your mouth and breathe through your nose. And you'll notice your tongue is blocking that airway.
Yeah.
And that's the best, keeping your mouth open and breathing through your nose. And then your tongue will always be there
at a spot. Now you're saying it, I'm like...
Yeah, I know. I never noticed it until...
Yeah. Yeah, but no, that's... Yeah, I really didn't think that'd be a job you'd be in. I know it's not a career. No. I don't think you're going to make a career out of being a dentist, but it's not a job that I'd ever envisioned you in. I don't think any of us are in jobs that we thought we'd be in.
No, which is odd, really.
To be fair, I think the only reason for that is because all of us at the moment just need money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, job's a job.
Yeah, I mean, some of the boys are in more fitting jobs.
Yeah. Like,
John's in a job that suits him, and it's definitely something he wanted.
Being surrounded by men all day.
With Sam, him in hospitality, he seems to be fitting in quite well. I haven't seen him at work, but he seems pretty happy with it. Yeah. He doesn't seem to want anything. Where do you see each other in 10 years?
Where do we see ourselves or each other?
Yourselves, and then we can say each other if you like.
Alright. You go first.
Ideally in the AFP.
AFP. See, I'm similar. I want to be in the AFP, and it's always been something I've wanted, but the money is shit.
Well,
I'm going to come out and say, like, I know
shit compared to what you're on at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, though. It's like, I don't want to, in 10 years' time, be making the same salary that I'm making at 18 years old.
Yeah.
Which is, I think everyone would think that's understandable. And granted, I'm spoiled because I am on a lot of money right now for an 18-year-old, but I don't want to be going backwards or staying at the same pay for ages. Like, granted, I'll probably enjoy police work more, and it'd probably, even though it's definitely not easier money by any means, it'd probably feel like easier money because you'd be living to work, not working
pretty
to live.
Much, yeah.
And that'd be a lot more enjoyable lifestyle.
Do you feel like earning the money you are at such a young age is more of a benefit or a curse because now you look at other jobs beneath you now?
It's both. I'm super lucky to be on the money I'm on, and I have no doubt about that. When I started, I was blowing it all. Everyone says don't give an 18-year-old big money for a reason. So, and my dad was like, "How much savings do you have?" And I was like, "Not as much as I should." Anyway, so then he put me into a savings regime, and I've been putting away pretty much half of my earnings every week, and it's been good. I just want to get myself set up now. I definitely, when I started, I was naive and throwing money left, right, centre, but yeah, at the same time, it's definitely meant that I'd probably put money before my mental health in a lot of jobs. Like, I look at jobs that I know I'd probably be a happier person in, but I see that it's, 25, 30, 40% pay cut. And I'm like, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could change my lifestyle outside of work that much just so that I enjoy 8 hours a day, 5 days a week more.
You see, with me, I'm always plan A, B, C, and D guy with my career path. So plan A, I want to do filmmaking, and that's why I'm doing my degree in it. But I'm treating it at the moment as a hobby, as like a side thing. And then plan B would be the job, the work. But at the moment, I'm on like plan D for earning money. But
like, I'd love to have plans like that, but the whole reason that I went to uni and left is because I realised that's not what I want to do. And all through, like, from year 7 to the end of year 12, I was adamant I wanted to go to university and do business management and then move into a business related career. And now I'm like, is that what I want?
After working in Centrelink and having a desk job?
Exactly. And my business, even if I did own one, I certainly wouldn't want it to be just,
crunching numbers.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be looking at spreadsheets my entire life. I want to be able to get out there and do stuff. I'm pretty excited to move into this new role because it's recruitment. I'm going to be meeting people and hearing people's stories and matching them with employers. And Centrelink was like that to a point because you'd be getting people on payments and they'd often tell you a lot about themselves, but you never felt happy for them because you knew that it was just the minimum possible to be done. Whereas putting them into a job, that they're actually going to be happy because they're going to be making a career for themselves. So, yeah, I don't know.
Now we're facing, the heralds of life as we were warned as school kids. If you could go back to your year 10 selves, what would you tell yourself?
Ooh. That's a good fucking
Because
question.
You can decide where you will go. I did an ASBA, which was a school-based apprenticeship, which was half school, half doing my apprenticeship with carpentry. It made me money that I could afford such luxuries as a car and filming equipment. That's how I paid for all the stuff I have now. But when I go back and seeing how much that impacted the career, I wouldn't have taken it. I would have done a hospitality job.
You've done hospitality?
Right.
I would have definitely needed a job, but
would you wanted to have still done an ASBA?
I don't think I would have, reflecting now.
You would have gone for the uni path?
I would have gone a T package, but I probably after that would have started an apprenticeship. I wouldn't have done an ASBA.
I genuinely have zero fucking idea. I don't know what I would have told myself. My biggest flaw is that I never really know what I've done wrong until it's too late.
Yeah.
And that's in a lot of context, but I hate to admit I've done the wrong thing, and I never see myself that I've done the wrong thing until it's too late, and it's so frequent. But
you see, I'm in the same situation as well.
Like, I know there are things that I should have done differently through year 10, 11, 12, but not obviously personal decisions, but on a more, creating a future for myself basis. I'm not sure what advice I would have given myself. Because all of the choices that I made led me to where I am today.
That's how I feel.
And
exactly.
I can't imagine a better place for myself to be in right now, given the current climate of the world.
So the reason I say that is because I would like to change that, but there was some things I was thankful I was in that apprenticeship, and it told me what a good boss is and how to reflect that, what good work is, how you can build up your skills. And it gave me money for situations like when I got a speeding ticket, I could pay it off. I was not concerned with that. But it would have been an experimentation, really. I might have. Yeah. I don't know. I like where I am now.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely
I'm doing
agree
what
with
I
you.
want.
I'm in the same boat.
What about you, Silko?
Well, I don't really plan anything. I'm not a planned person. I just
we know.
We're seeing your careers.
I basically scraped my way through year 12 because I just gave up. Didn't want to go anymore. And then...
Do you regret that?
No. Not in the slightest.
No? Because I always wondered, because a lot of people from, well, not just our friendship group, but a lot of people back when we were in year 12, like, you know, say, oh, Varman's never here first period, he's never here till shooter.
Midday, whenever.
And obviously there were things going on, but do you don't regret not being there in the morning or
not getting top grades?
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I've still got my A target into uni.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't matter to me. I'm glad I always enjoyed myself in year 12. So.
Yeah.
That's the thing. A lot of people freak out in year 11, 12 about getting into unis, but then when they get in, like John's deferred.
I was genuinely.
I got in without an A tar.
For so long, I was so stressed about an A tar, and just because everything came down to this one number, and you get it, and you look at it, and it's just a fucking piece of paper with like a 4-digit number on there, and you're like,
yeah, what's it going to
now what? Yeah, and I got to university and I did 10 days. And I decided I'm not coming back. I decided, no, this is it. This is not what I want. This is not where I want to be. And
would you consider going back?
Not in the foreseeable future. Yeah. Maybe in a few years. Maybe when I've already.
You probably end up like this is the same situation with my dad. He got a job at age 17, and he's still at that job. But he says he could have gone promotion, but if he had a degree, he could have gone up there, but he wouldn't have seen me, my brother, mum at home again. So it was kind of a win-win for the position he's in.
That's the other thing, is the balance.
Yeah.
Because the other reason, I was looking at options of, you know, studying part-time, online, those sorts of things, but for my own mental health, I need a social life. I'm very big on being able to see my girlfriend and you boys and my family and all that sort of thing. And I wouldn't be able to manage 40 hours a week of work and 20 hours a week of uni and still have the same social life. And I think that trying to put that much weight on myself would definitely screw with my mental health. So I see a lot of, like, you know, there's all the stuff going on in China that's been surfacing in the news recently. There's Huawei with the, 996? So it's like they're working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, that just seems crazy to me. And obviously it's crazy to a lot of people that have, you know, just lived in Australia their whole life, because the whole standard here is 40-hour weeks.
Yeah.
And maybe, look, you know, there are people that are still working stupid hours. I know people that are working, you know, 80, 90 hours a week, but I can't imagine doing that. I just can't imagine subjecting myself to that level of...
Yeah, well, I worked with a lot of the people in labouring with their Chinese background, and they don't leave sites. I remember seeing them sleeping at the site, ready to get up on the day.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's part of their culture, constant working, or... What would you say?
I mean, it's definitely, it seems like that's the culture over there, because, you know, a lot of it is about generating wealth and generating status.
Because, I can't remember, I think someone told me that their grandparents, they are responsible for raising their kid while the parents go out and make the living.
A lot of cultures, actually.
Yeah. Like, white Western culture is so fucking lazy compared to a lot of other cultures around the world. Like, you know, the American dream is to work 40 hours a week and have your family at home in, you know, white picket fence house.
Raising a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Like small family, you know, family of 4, husband, wife, 2 kids and a pet, right? That's the American dream, and that's the Australian dream and all that sort of stuff as well. It's all the same. It all comes down to that similar concept of life being easy. And then you look at a lot of other cultures where they're working 70 hours plus a week. They don't stop. They don't give themselves a weekend. They don't, it's one day because of religion or things like that. Like Australian culture especially is just fucking lazy.
And the difference between, I was reading this study, but there's like Australians don't usually have respect for their bosses.
Yeah.
There's always then like,
absolutely.
oh, you're
there's a lot of just anti-authority.
Australians just hate authority.
Yeah.
And listening to authority and superiors and all those
But
things.
in China, this is so I've heard, I might be talking bullshit, but they respect their bosses that in the afternoon they have a drink with them.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard, and I might be talking.
Japan's pretty like
yeah.
that.
I think it might have been
Things,
Japanese and stuff.
Yeah, and you would get it in Australia as well in some jobs, but it's like
it also just comes down to
it's-
like a person-on-person
yeah,
level.
exactly. It's not something that's actually
It depends.
structurally built into society.
Yeah.
But
All right,
we've deviated a lot.
Yeah,
But
we've gone on tangent.
let's
All right.
let's get back to the topic at hand.
So, with your spare time after not working, with games, what would you say is your favorite game and why?
Oh, fuck! It's changed all the time. But my favorite game franchise is Forza.
Yeah.
Which is fucking stupid because Forza suck at making games. Like they make good games. Well, Forza games are good. The Turn 10 make the games, but they're really shit because it's all copy paste from games that are 15 years old. It's just new cars and new maps, and the maps never get bigger. They add a few little features that are irrelevant because you use them 2 or 3 times. But Forza Horizon 1 got me into cars.
Mm-hmm.
And cars have probably been the biggest positive for my mental health ever.
Yeah.
And cars have definitely changed my life. But a lot of that was owed to, I wasn't allowed to play shooters much as a kid. I wasn't allowed to, all my friends would get home and they'd be like, oi Riley, you should get COD, oi Riley, you should get GTA, you should, all those games. I was like, I wasn't allowed to play anything that was above M rated until I was 13, 14,
that was my family as well. I remember I wanted Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
And I went into the store and it was MA 15 plus, and I think I was 13 at the time. Anyway, I grabbed the game, go up to the counter. My dad's outside, gave me the money for it, and he goes, "Sorry, I can't sell this to you." I'm like, oh no, and walk out. My dad's like, "I'll go in and just buy it for you." And I'm like, "No, they've already caught me. I don't want." I was that scared about the counter, realizing that I've just gone out.
Sales where they're gonna yeah. No, that's I remember I really wanted Halo Reach. Halo was my favorite franchise. Halo still probably is my favorite franchise. It's definitely very close between Forza and Halo. But I remember I always wanted Halo Reach. Since before I even had an Xbox because it just looked awesome, and it was always MA. And I remember one day they did an update for Xbox 360 where it changed the whole interface and everything. And for some reason it was there was a glitch that changed the ratings, the actual SRB ratings on a lot of games. So Halo Reach went from MA 15 plus to M on the Xbox store. So I asked my dad, I was like, "Can I please get this game?" And he's like, "Yeah, is it violent?" And I was like, "No, it's only M rated." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And I remember I felt like the cheekiest bloke on earth when I did that because I knew full well I should not be playing this. But no, it was a good turning point for actually friendships because I definitely solidified a lot of friendships.
Why is Halo Reach MA 15 plus?
At the time it was violent. All the assassinations and stuff.
Yeah, but there's no blood.
Yeah, but at the time it was
Halo
Reach now would probably be rated PG. But yeah, at the time it was definitely pretty confronting seeing, humans getting thrown onto the ground and having a sword, shoved through their spinal cord. But
here's another question, and I was arguing with my dad about this. If you gave the technologies of today to the game designers of the past, like the original Xboxes, would you say games would be a lot better, or would they still be at our standards?
I don't know, because I feel like we wouldn't know. It's hard to...
I feel like they'd probably be better because there was a bit more creativity going on.
That was my argument.
The sequels over and over again.
It wasn't reboots or reshoots.
No.
Developers and publishers don't want to try new shit now.
No.
They want to do the tried and tested things that have already been done. Like Doom was fucking crazy. That was before our lifetime, but that was fucking crazy when that came out because no one had done anything like that before. Everything was 2D platformers until that came out. That was the first
3D game.
3D
shooter And it changed the gaming industry forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like since then, like Halo was another big breakthrough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With adding storylines to an
Yeah.
action game, because Doom, under the surface, there might have been a storyline about
Yeah.
guy going to hell and all that,
And-
but it wasn't at the forefront where Halo's was.
Exactly. And you know, like there were a lot of breakthroughs. Need for Speed was a huge breakthrough for gaming. But yeah, I don't know. I think the biggest thing is that no one's willing to try new stuff anymore.
I think what's about to happen, and you can see this with things, indie developers are now the technology's there to make them good quality games. They're getting up there at one of the developers neck and neck.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say they more like come out with something really popular and then it'll be, blow up to something massive and then die out again.
Yeah,
like they
which
don't
we've seen
last
happen
like
so
AAA
many
games
times
do.
recently. Like Among Us was this tiny little fucking game
Yeah.
that did not have a lot in it.
Yeah.
It just
very basic
popped like
functions.
that. It was
Yes.
so random.
And no one can really even identify why it was such a success.
Mhm.
Like it was a few people enjoyed it and they started putting it on YouTube and then it just blew up all over social media, all over everything.
It started as a Twitch thing,
Yeah.
and then it started popularity,
Yeah,
and then
but
it was just a social game.
yeah,
And that was
but like there's no big breakthrough in that game.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the issue with a lot of the modern ones. Like I feel like VR is probably the closest we are to breaking through to something new.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
it's getting better.
VR doesn't feel like you want VR to feel. VR
Yeah.
still feels very
It doesn't feel like a real gaming
Yeah,
experience. It just
exactly.
feels like a novelty that
Yeah.
you do here
right.
and there.
But something that feels a lot more real. Like if you were able to actually feel like you were driving a car, like not see that you're driving a car and hear that you're driving a car, but to actually be able to feel in your muscles and in your brain that you are literally driving a car or really shooting a gun.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's when we'll have that next breakthrough.
Yep.
And until then, I don't think games are going to change a lot.
So you reckon the next step is like a full body?
Being
game,
able
isn't
to
it?
actually legitimately trick your brain into thinking that you're doing something that you're not.
Yeah, there's like that study with sensations. Like I think game developers. There was a psychologist and hypnotist, Darren Brown, and he did that test where you put your arm here, but you have a fake arm here and one arm here.
Yes, I
And
know
then
what you're
that
talking about.
hammer hit,
Yep.
and you feel the pain.
Yeah,
So if game developers can like fake that to a perfection where you think that arm is real,
yes.
I reckon that's another thing
I
which
fully
VR
agree.
might be able to do.
VR's the closest to it. It's
Yeah.
the closest we've gotten to it so far, and there is like augmented reality, and there's those suits that stimulate, muscle pain and stuff through vibrations.
But
and
there's
whatnot,
also
but it's not real enough.
yeah. But there's also those the new technology with filmmaking that could cross over, which was that room. They used for Mandalorian. There was a whole
the
circular,
LED.
Yes,
the whole
I know what you're
circular
talking
room,
about. Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
using
yeah.
game engines to make the backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you can make that smaller and cheaper, you could have like your own room.
I think it was still a very long way.
Yeah, it's a
That's
long way. It's hypothetically
It's,
a breakthrough.
Mm.
But speaking of studio companies, Cyberpunk, how's your experience going on with it?
I haven't played it enough,
Unplayable.
but I haven't played enough of it because I haven't been able to play it. Like a mix of me obviously not being on Xbox very often, and of the game literally fucking breaking itself every 20 minutes. I haven't played much of it. I'm disappointed is an understatement, but that's the same with literally everyone that was excited for Cyberpunk.
Have you seen their
It's-
apology?
Yeah, I watched it this morning actually.
Yeah.
That was,
It-
like, yeah. I mean, I suppose similar thing did happen with The Witcher. Very buggy at launch, and then so I guess we just got to wait it
Not
out,
like
and
that.
see if it gets.
yeah,
No, it was
I mean,
definitely
the
not that
Witcher's
bad.
still got a lot of
But-
like Game of the Year awards, and
Yeah.
it was goated for a long time as one of the best games on Xbox that you could get, and I don't think that Cyberpunk is ever going to be remembered like that.
No,
Cyberpunk is
definitely not. It's going to be
2020's
remembered as one of
Watch
the
Dogs.
biggest fails in gaming history.
it really is 2020's Watch Dogs, where it was such a new concept and it looked so cool and everything about it was super exciting, and then you got your hands on it and it was just disappointing.
But I think our opinion's biased because we all play it on Xbox. Do you think some PC players will say, no, it's a bit buggy, but...
PC, yeah, it's been pretty much just good reviews for it, because...
But they still have issues.
Yeah, they still have issues, but that's to be expected in any game. There's no perfect game. But, yeah, like, the game itself is good. It's a good game. So, of course, they're going to enjoy it. It just... Like, it's barely functional for us on our peasant-spec consoles.
The developers didn't want to release it at the time either.
Yeah,
the developers wanted more time.
It was completely...
They knew that the
public
game
outcry
wasn't ready to be released.
And they had the issue, which a lot of game developers, and they said this in the apology, that they went from high-tech PCs to downgrading it to Xbox, where it's always the other way around with the other.
Like, I'm sure that on Series X or the PS5 or a high-end PC, the game would still, like, it'd feel better, but it would probably still have bugs. Because the game is not as refined as it should have been for a launch title.
Even if you delayed it, that you didn't work on it, you just delayed it until the older generations died out, would you think there would still be bad reviews on the newer consoles?
I think there'd be the potential for it. But I don't think that... The issue is, right, once some people start complaining, everyone wants to complain.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to tell what would actually happen. Because, like, are the reviews on Steam still mixed?
I can quickly check if you...
No, don't bother. I know that they were mixed for ages, which is not good. Like, for a new IP to be launching on Steam as mixed is...
But that could also be a mix of deniers saying, no, it's
exactly,
a good
but
game.
that's
and then other people on the other side just like haven't played it and they're like,
that's what I'm saying, though.
Like,
because you know, I see it gets so much negative media, and I think it is still a good game. It's just inherently flawed by an inability to actually enjoy it because of the bugs on console, and it is primarily on console. But it's the first game PlayStation have offered to buy back from you.
Refunded, and Xbox Store did this as well.
And like, that's crazy that a game with that much hype. Like, if someone told you when was it originally announced? It was
2013 or something.
Yeah, 2013.
Like,
it's been a long time in the making.
You know, there was that much hype around it. I definitely... This is going to sound fucking whack, but as soon as I saw that they had Keanu Reeves on board, I was like, something about this isn't going to be... As soon as games bring celebrities in as the big selling point, it doesn't... It loses a lot of its appeal to me.
You reckon?
Because if that's like their focal point, all they were using was Keanu Reeves to market it.
Well, I mean, to be honest...
Well, most of it was Keanu Reeves.
They had the most successful marketing because of meme culture, memeing, like, You're Breathtaking, how that was all over the internet as well.
Yeah.
So it was kind of out of their hands.
I think it was already just super hyped just for the scope of the project.
Yeah, and on CD Projekt Red, which they said...
and after The Witcher, everyone was prepared for something
Do you reckon
incredible.
It was too ambitious?
I don't think so. Because
I reckon for their company it was. If they had a bigger company backing them,
keep in mind that they promised a lot more than what came in the launch.
Yeah, they had to cut so much
yes,
content.
they did.
Like, do you think they overpromised?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a Star Citizen situation as well.
Yeah.
Like, they promised, and that was a small company.
But isn't Star Citizen still considered like an actual unfinished game? Like, isn't it still in beta?
Yeah, it's still in beta.
Yeah.
But they've still added DLC to it to make the games like World. It's playable, but it does have the similar issues as Cyberpunk.
Yeah. But, like, because Cyberpunk is released as an actual game.
So you reckon Cyberpunk wouldn't have gone as much...
Cyberpunk.
that should be the title of this. Do you reckon Cyberpunk would have gone less bad coverage if they released it earlier as a beta and then kept working on it and then released it?
Yes, yeah, but I feel like that would not have been the preferable option.
No.
I'd much rather just have a full game
Yeah.
there and then have them release updates for it than
You
just
always
something
say
that's
when
indefinitely
games
in
are
beta.
released in beta, there's never a big hype around it and they never sell well.
No.
Like, there's a lot of games that if they were released
But it never gets back.
6 months from now, and it was completely new to everyone, they would seem fucking incredible. Like Star Citizen, Ark. What are some other ones? I don't know. DayZ. Like if they all dropped in like 6 to 9 months from now, and it was completely new, I think a lot of people would enjoy those a lot more than what they say they do now, because they've been out for so many years. That
It's kind of a double-edged sword with both of them, because one thing of the games of the past, they were finished when they were released. They didn't hyped up. Where this one, we have a generation of games where, we can fix it later. We can update it now, where they're not forced to, what's on the disc is all you get.
Yeah.
Which is either an issue.
I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous. I think the ability to just launch huge updates after a game has been released, like it's a blessing and a curse again, because obviously no game is perfect. No game is perfect, but I don't think they should be doing 40, 50, 60 gigabyte updates consistently for things that should have been in the game from launch. Like I get with things like Rainbow, I get it because it's DLC and they're adding things and they're changing things and they're making it a better game over time. Like Rainbow was still really fucking good when it launched, and Rainbow is still really fucking good now. And it has always been a good game, and it has always appealed to the same group of people.
Was it as good as launch? I remember hearing it was a bit, or just having.
It was good. Having played it at launch, it was good. Like compared to what it is now, you'd probably say this feels shit. But like when it launched, it was a good game. It wasn't really that buggy. It was. Did it release on old consoles?
Yeah.
No, it was new. It was with the game on Xbox One. I think it was on PC before it went to the consoles.
I think it was the other way around. I think it actually came out on consoles like a week before it came out on PC, because a lot of games were doing that at the time. But I don't know for sure. Like obviously there was beta and stuff on PC though. Cyberpunk shouldn't have been released in the way it was.
No,
I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say that they definitely overpromised.
Yeah, there needs to be a new policy where you need to finish the game before releasing. It won't happen, but it needs.
The biggest fucking example, and it was one of the earliest ones that was seen on such a huge scale, was Watch Dogs.
Yeah,
like Watch Dogs 1 from Ubisoft promised so much more than it delivered.
Well, they lied. That was one of the reasons.
One of the big things was, they lied their fucking asses off about how good the game would look and what you could do in the game. People got their hands on the game, and straight away people were like, what the fuck?
But that's like...
there was literally files on PC that you could just... Like, you could edit a few things to turn things on, and the game looked like it did in, the IGN trailers and the E3 release stuff. And it looked good, because the biggest thing then was graphics. And there were other features and things that they cut from the game that they said were banned the game, but the biggest thing was graphics. And other IPs have done that since then, like The Division. But Ubisoft are the worst for doing it, for releasing unfinished games. But like The Division they released, and that was just a fucking shit show. That sucked.
I don't understand this philosophy that big developers have of release a game each year. A game needs time to develop. You can't do it each year.
But at the end of the day,
they're getting mad profits.
Publishers like Ubisoft and EA exist as a business that need to deliver to stakeholders.
Yeah.
Not as a service that's there to provide for people that want cool games. Like they have a responsibility to return profit to shareholders, essentially. And they're not going to do that if they keep delaying games and saying, we need another year or two to get this out. Everyone's going to fucking pull out. I'm surprised they're worth as much as they are with how many unfinished games they're releasing. And I hope that a big publisher fucking goes into like insolvency because they keep releasing unfinished games, so that the whole market changes.
I feel like Cyberpunk would have sent a big warning message to all the others.
Right, that's what I'm hoping.
But I mean, EA has taken a hit with the recent news as well with Battlefront 2. That whole loot box scam, that dropped their stock.
Shit on them.
And now Disney has cut their license with them and handing it over to Bethesda.
They've just reduced it or removed the exclusivity.
Yeah. Exclusivity. Yeah.
So they're still making games.
Which I mean, it's not the first time we've seen shit like that. Like EA had a license with Porsche for fucking ages, and it was like only racing game you could drive a Porsche in was Need for Speed for about 12 years. And EA just kept releasing shit games. And EA kept releasing games that like no one liked. Fucking Criterion Games nearly lost EA like almost $1 billion at one point because they released a game that was that shit. And I think it was after Need for Speed Rivals, which just had such bad reviews that Porsche pretty much just tore up the licensing agreement and said, no, anyone can use this now. Like, we're not just sticking with you. Because it doesn't matter how... Like, literally, it was bad for their business. And they were like, it doesn't matter how much, profit we get from this licensing agreement with you guys. Because obviously they get commission from the game, having that sort of licensing agreement. But getting, 1% of a $7 DLC for a few years with Forza was still making them way more money than they got with the entire licensing agreement with Need for Speed for ages. And I think Star Wars cutting ties with EA like that is going to lose them a lot more fucking money than losing a license with Porsche has. Like, Porsche was one aspect of a huge IP. Star Wars is their fucking IP.
Which was the fans that talk back. They messed with something that was already established before they had their hands on it.
Yeah.
But there was good people that worked on it too.
I'm nervous about Bethesda getting their hands on Star Wars.
They're doing Indiana Jones first.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they've got... Well, it's the whole Disney Lucasfilm.
The one hope I have is that they're tasked with making an open world Star Wars game. So if they...
That's Ubisoft though, not Bethesda.
I thought Bethesda... No, Bethesda's working on one, and then Ubisoft's
got the open world one.
Yeah. I thought... I don't know, we'll have to fact check.
I am very sceptical about what Ubisoft are going to promise for this Star Wars game.
I mean, they definitely know they're open worlds, but I can't think of any scenario where they've done
Ubisoft
a licensed
do open world
series
games well. In terms of actually exploring the environment, I love
Assassin's Creed.
I love walking around in Assassin's Creed. I love walking around in Far Cry and The Division and Watch Dogs. The environments are done well. It's the games themselves that suck.
So
for a variety of reasons. It's never normally just one reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, usually the thing that shatters hopes and dreams is over-promising.
Yes. Yeah. Really, the only one consistently good series has been Far Cry.
Yeah.
All the others have had just...
But even that has had,
things.
It's low points.
Yeah, its low points are pretty low, but for the most part, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah. My enjoyment of the Far Cry series peaked at Far Cry 3. That's not saying that's the best Far Cry.
I'd say mine peaked at 4. Yeah.
4 was probably their best offering.
Yeah.
I'd say 4 is the best.
But that's the beauty of games, that everything comes down to opinion as well.
Yeah.
Because they are so different, and different people are going to enjoy things differently.
And different people have their expertise in their franchises. Like, you are like Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, and Riley's in the car games, and I'm in the fantasy, whatever.
Fantasy. Did you play Final Fantasy, Connor?
No. I was like
Skyrim.
Skyrim's good, but
Skyrim.
Back to Bethesda.
Why haven't they released
Skyrim? Because they kind of fucking shot themselves in the foot.
There's
with
a
the
new
whole
one coming.
Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, there is. But
thank God.
Bethesda doing shit online. Nah, they need to stay away from it. They don't do online well.
I don't know. They should just get away from it. Or
Elder Scrolls Online demonstrated why Bethesda does single player games well.
Fallout 76
and then
did that.
They still went ahead and did Fallout 76.
Not that it was a bad game, there just wasn't anything to do in it. There was no, it wasn't a Fallout game.
It was a Fallout 76 was a single player game with no single player.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what it felt like.
It was later.
Yeah, they took out all the things that make a single player game good, and then just put in what felt like a really shitty multiplayer system.
Yes.
They're like, here's Fallout, you can explore it with your friends. That was all you could do, pretty much. That's all it felt like you could do.
That's all it really was. There was some semblance of a story, all done through holotapes and notes and things, but that's not a game.
It was like an essence of a story.
Yeah.
Not
all it was is just exploring this world with your mates.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing to do.
What would you recommend them just stay completely away or test it out on a small online game they could?
Yeah, I think the go for them would be just small co-op, like up to 4 players at
Have
most.
they done? Because Bethesda own Doom, yeah.
Yes.
Have they done like any PvP with Doom?
Yes, they have in the recent
Doom
2016
Eternal
and
PvP.
Doom Eternal. They've done
Because I haven't played Doom enough.
and reviews that it's kind of average.
Yeah.
I haven't played the PvP, but
Is it PvP or PvE?
There's like this game mode they've done with Doom Eternal where one person's like the creature and a bunch of Doom guys are trying to take it out. It's like
Is
battle
that,
mode.
No, you remember Evolve?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Evolve.
Is it like that?
Yeah, it's like that.
Right.
But
So
with
that-
Doom
that
creatures.
was a
There's
fucking-
like 2 of them.
That vanished quicker than it.
Mm-hmm.
God, I remember.
There was so much hype around that game before it
and
came
then
out.
Nothing.
And it came out, and I think within like 2 months it was being sold for
Dead and
$19.
Yeah.
Which is always a clear sign that the game is well and truly fucking shit. But there wasn't even a horrible game.
I played like once when it was free on Game Pass.
It was a game that looked great.
I installed it but had no
And
passion
then,
to.
yeah, it was a game that looked great, and then you actually got it, and I was like, eh.
Mm-hmm.
There was some other weird ones that were like that. There was a lot of games that were like that on the current, or now previous generation of consoles. But yeah, I don't know. Bethesda having Star Wars licensing is cool, and I'm excited for the single player stuff it'll bring.
Mm-hmm.
I
Because
reckon they're
Bethesda
Indiana
do
Jones.
single player games well.
And another thing I noticed is that for some reason they've developed Disney has developed a gaming company, Lucasfilm Games. So it'd be interesting what they because why did they get rid of LucasArts to just now remake a new game company? Why didn't they just
Yeah, I mean, I think there was just nothing coming out of it for a
Yeah.
while, so they just
they had
decided to
so
retire
many
it.
projects that they just scrapped on them. There
but
was
I
like
think
13,
unless you're a
13.
hardcore Star Wars fan, everyone sort of didn't give a shit about Star
Yeah.
Wars until
Yeah.
the new series of movies coming out, which
Yeah.
is when they brought back all these licenses and
Yeah.
games and stuff. So
Exactly. I don't really know much about Lucasfilms themselves. I know that they were responsible for Star Wars and Indiana Jones, obviously. Everyone knows that. Is there anything else?
Not really.
Was it like just Star Wars and Indiana Jones?
Yeah, pretty much. They've tapped their hands into a couple other projects, but
But nothing that's actually their
No.
own like intellectual property.
because with LucasArts, they started developing their own games. There was like a little side crawler thing called Monkey Island, which was quite successful for them, and then they just stopped. They just keep making the same stuff. But it just baffles me. Why would you get rid of a gaming company that's already established and has good trained people to just recreate it a couple of years, like 10? Well, I guess they didn't realize how EA would fuck their games so much.
EA are notorious for reshuffling people for the sake of it as
Yeah,
well. Like EA shut down Black Box after Skate 3, and a lot of people went to other, like completely different publishers and franchises and developers and all those sorts of things. But like they did it with Black Box, they did it with was it Criterion? What else? Like Naughty Dog got completely disbanded for ages because what they did, Crash Bandicoot, Tomb Raider.
They've been a
No,
really
what was
good,
Nathan Drake?
yeah,
Yeah.
Uncharted,
Uncharted, that's it.
and
That
then
was their
Just
main
Cause.
thing.
They've been a pretty good
Did they do Just
studio.
Cause?
Yeah.
They started Just Cause, I think.
No, they
Or
did
they-
Just Cause 3.
did they?
Yeah.
That was Square Enix.
Yeah,
Square,
that was,
maybe that's what I'm getting
Yeah,
confused.
Square Enix did the new Tomb Raiders.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
That's where I've...
yeah. Square Enix is a bit of a weird one
Yeah.
as a publisher. They haven't done horrible games, but none of their games were either remarkably good either. They were just
like
kind of.
really the biggest thing was Just Cause 3. Just
Yeah.
Cause 4 was a waste.
Just
And,
Cause 4 was Just Cause 3 with weather.
I
literally,
don't know.
and then the Tomb Raider reboots, which were good.
So
My
like
favourite
the
series.
original,
So
the first reboot of Tomb Raider
yeah,
was fucking incredible. Like I love it. I've played. Is it 3? All 3 of the new ones that Square Enix have done. Is it 3 or 4?
yeah, it's 3 for her Origin story.
Because they are sick, and I loved that first one. And you're in the cave, and like just seeing how fucking gruesome it
Yeah.
was. Like it was a gritty story.
Landing on that
Lara falling from that height, and then it just going through her
Mhm.
like that fucking rusty nail.
Yep.
Yeah.
and then her crawling through the caves, having that like lodged inside. It looked fucking grim.
And all their deaths.
The first time you kill someone in that game felt emotional. Like it was, it was a very, very well done story, and it was a very well done game because that was 2013.
Yes, when the first one came.
Yeah, like that was good for the time. That was definitely my favourite game of that year. I don't know what else came out that year.
Well, Tomb Raider's been my favourite series for a long time, and now these three.
You just like Lara Croft's ass.
Yeah, well,
It's just the third.
Who could blame him? Who could blame him?
But yeah, the new three, they're probably my favourite games, and especially Rise of the Tomb Raider. That was brilliantly done.
Yeah.
I've been playing Uncharted, so I'm scared to go into the Tomb Raider.
I've got every Uncharted game and I've never played a single one.
How come?
Good question. I've got them. I got earlier, it was towards the start of coronavirus, they made them all free
Yeah.
for everyone. So I downloaded them all and I've never touched them.
Me and my dad have just been going through them. We're just at Uncharted 4 at the near the end point. It's kind of sad when you do it all, but it's pretty good. Okay, what would you rather? A really good single player or a really good online game?
Wait, sorry. Can we just go back? Naughty Dog also did The Last of Us.
Yes.
That was their most recent success.
But The Last of Us 2 disappointed so many people.
Yeah, it did. But The Last of Us 1 was a new idea, and that was fucking awesome. Like, I only played through it last year, because I only got a PlayStation last year. Yeah. But The Last of Us was incredible.
I agree.
And the actual genuine sense of fear you would get in parts of that game, without it being a horror game, just because you were emotionally invested in the characters, is not something that's common. And
the behind the scenes is fantastic as well, how they based the actual virus thing on one of these common spores.
Yeah.
The way they grow, so they try to ground it in reality as well.
No.
I reckon they're a pretty safe development company, Naughty Dogs. Why have they done badly?
Because they haven't really thought of that many new ideas.
No.
Like The Last of Us was good. They didn't even overpromise with the second one. It was just that because of how groundbreaking the first one was, everyone expected such big things from the second one. And it wasn't even a bad game. Like, I think a lot of it was better than the first one. But it was just because
the story,
everyone had moved forward since then, and everyone expected much greater things. Like, the story probably wasn't as incredible. They kind of outdid themselves on the first one. It didn't leave much room for improvement in the second. So, but Naughty Dog is cool. I do appreciate what they've done for the gaming industry. I spent a lot of time growing up playing Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I want to play the reboot version. Just
it's fun.
Like as a spare
it's really
time
fun.
thing.
They've released the new one, like Crash Bandicoot 4, and I do want to. I don't want to pay $99 for it though. Like,
that's ridiculous.
It is pretty insane. But
like the Lego Star Wars going for $100 as well.
Yeah, right.
What the hell?
It's a Lego game.
I've been playing Lego Harry Potter for the last week. I've been fucking loving it.
So that's where you've been.
Yeah, that's literally. That's why. Alright, well, I'm gonna be real with you. You know, I'm gonna go back to one of the first questions you asked me. Why am I not on Xbox? Because I'm playing Lego games on PlayStation.
There it is. We thought we'd never hear it. We finally got the truth. An hour into it.
You can't even fault me for playing Lego games. There's nothing wrong with that. But
Dog and the Boys.
And Dog and the Boys,
Or
but
Lego.
it's
Why don't you invite us? They're multiplayer.
thick Lego Hermione.
Yeah, fair
The
enough.
flat chested.
Lego Hermione.
Yeah.
Foxy.
Yeah. I've been enjoying Lego games. They're good. They're just innocent fun.
Yeah.
There's no, this story is not very compelling.
Awesome.
It's not about that. It's just I don't know. What would you call it? A platformer?
Puzzle platform, I guess.
Game. Yeah. Puzzle action.
It's a kids game.
Yeah, it's
a kids game.
But they're kids games that pretty much anyone can enjoy. Like, I love Lego Star Wars and I love Lego Harry Potter, and half of it is for the nostalgia. But they are still fun games.
Yeah. Like,
it is fun working out how you can get 100% completion at every level and stuff.
That's the one game you can 100%. There's so many games that's just like their 100% is just so taxing and
weird
tame.
secret cheat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but it was back when it was simple. I love playing Lego Star Wars on the Wii. Back when that was the thing. That's a franchise that really flopped.
What?
Nintendo.
Oh,
Like, okay, no.
they're starting their comeback with the Switch.
I get that the Switch is popular, but the Switch is popular.
It's popular against a certain type of person.
I feel like it's just like the franchise. What you get with Sony is single player experience first. What you get with Xbox is multiplayer games and shooters. What you get with Nintendo is family fun.
Yeah, that's fair. I see that.
Agree.
But
So it's like,
well, yeah. I mean, I can't really say Nintendo's flopped. The Wii U was a flop.
yeah,
That sucked, and
the
the
Wii kind of.
DS flopped. But they've kind of merged them with the Switch.
I think that's
And the Switch has been successful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Switch was sold out everywhere in Australia
It's
and the
a- I
United
mean, it's
States
pretty
and
cool.
the UK when
The
coronavirus
Switch
started.
having like your own portable thing you can pick up,
Yeah.
take anywhere. You can plug it to your TV. You can, multiple people use one of the controllers.
and
each.
something game developers has forgotten about for some unknown reason. Split screen, two player games,
Yep.
two controllers. And
What split screen shooters can you still buy today?
The retired COD that
Yeah.
no longer has split screens.
Halo 5 abandoned. I'm not sure if it's back.
I think they
Yeah,
did confirm
fine.
it would be back. I'm pretty certain that
Infinite. Yeah, right.
I'm pretty certain that they said that they realised what a big fuck up that was, because obviously everyone hated it.
Yeah,
Everyone was
it
like
was-
the
it was
biggest,
just
one of the
against
biggest
Halo.
appeals of Halo has always been it's like
Multi-screen.
sit down on the couch with your mates
That's
and
what COD
just
needs to bring back
fucking
as well.
dunk on one another. Like exactly.
Like, you cannot beat a bit of Black Ops multiplayer,
Right.
or MW3 multiplayer.
But that's what we still, when we're at a house
Yeah,
together,
we
we
still
still
do
play
that.
COD.
Mm-hmm.
Not fucking, I'll bring my Xbox and you can bring your Xbox
And we can play fucking insert AAA game here.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Like,
still,
I get why games like Rainbow don't work with split screen,
Mm.
yeah,
but
still could.
yeah, you could pull it off. It
Mhm.
wouldn't be that
There'd be
hard.
like just unbelievable amounts of screen cheating, but that's
Yeah,
half the fun anyway.
That
so-
is half the fun.
That's what you do anyway. Like
Anyone
Black
that
Ops 2.
said that they didn't screen cheat is
You're
a
a fucking
fucking
liar.
liar. You're a pathetic liar.
Except for the brother relationship without the cardboard on half
Oh yeah,
the
if you
screen.
use like a blanket or some cardboard or something, then whatever.
Cover half
But
of it.
that's too extra. That's too much effort,
Mhm.
man. No one did that.
You just gotta accept screen cheating's a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. That was half the fun. Because you know that you're both screen cheating.
Exactly.
So you just
So it
need
all
to
just
be
comes
the
down to
best.
skill in
Yeah,
a way.
exactly. But no, it was good. I do miss that aspect of gaming.
Mhm.
But yeah, we still play a lot of Black Ops together,
Mm-hmm.
which we need to put on the channel more.
We need to.
Yes.
But yeah,
On that, shall we end?
I don't know. We're ready to end.
Yeah,
What
we've gone for an
I
hour.
swear. What was the other one you had? It was you want to talk
we'll
about?
do that another time.
Okay.
All right. Well,
We got enough conversation.
beautiful. Well,
On that terrible disappointment, I'll see you mates in the next one. Bye guys.
are we all signing off individually? Do I get to sign off? Do
No.
I get to say something?
Go
No.
ahead then.
No, you put me on the spot now. I don't know what to say.
Well, fuck
Do
you.
you,
Alright.
mate?
Thanks, legends, and I'll see you mates in the next one. Never mind, it's gonna just have to be cut out anyway because Connor's doing.